Hi, it's scorching summer afternoon. The sun is blazing through your window, the kind of heat that makes the air feel heavy. You get up, you pull the blinds, and then you close the curtains. Now, how much sunlight is actually getting into your room? Each layer blocks 50% of the energy that hits it. Two layers, simple multiplication, half of half, 25%. Almost everyone gets that answer, and it's wrong. The real answer is 33.3%, one third, not one quarter. If you said 25%, you were more thinking like a mathematician, not like a physicist. The difference between those two answers hides an infinite series, a hidden coupling, and a truth about how energy moves through the universe. 25% feels airtight. The logic is clean. The sunlight hits the blinds block half, remaining half reaches the curtains. The curtains block half of what's left. 50% times 50%, 25%. Done. This reasoning assumes the energy flows in one way, sun to blinds, to curtains, to room. One way street. Each layer acts independently. It takes what it gets, cuts in half, and then passes the rest forward. End of story. But there is a quiet assumption buried inside this picture. It treats the curtains like a cold, black sink, something that absorbs energy and gives nothing back. The curtains aren't cold, they absorb energy, they heat up, and when something heats up, it radiates. Some of that radiation goes forward into the room, and some of that goes backward towards the blinds. The curtains are heating the blinds too. That single reversal changes everything, and this is where our common sense completely shatters. Because now the blinds aren't just dealing with the sun, they are dealing with the sun plus an echo from the curtains, which changes what blinds radiate forward, which changes what the curtains receive, which changes what the curtains radiate back. Two layers are coupled, they are talking to each other, and you can't solve one without solving the other. Let's trace the energy step by step, not with equations, with a story. The blind absorbs the full force of sunlight, 1 unit, but they also absorb something else, back radiation from the curtains. They split everything they receive, half reflected outward, lost to the outside world, half reflected inward, toward the curtains. The curtains absorb what blinds sent their way. They split it in half, half forward into the room, half backward to the blinds. That backward half hits the blind again. The blind split it, half outward, half back towards the curtains, which split it again. And it keeps going. A fraction of the original energy bounces back and forth between two layers forever. Each cycle, the amount gets smaller, but it never reaches zero. I think you're getting where this is going. An infinite series of reflection, a conversation that never quite ends. Picture two people tossing a ball between them. Each person drops half of what they catch before throwing the rest back. The ball gets lighter with every throw, but it never completely stops moving. First pass, the blind catch 1 unit, drop half, throw half. Second pass, the curtains catch that half, drop a quarter, throw a quarter back. Third pass, the blind catch that quarter, drop an eighth, throw an eighth, and so on. The numbers shrink towards zero, but it never really touches it. And the sun, all of these shrinking contributions, every fraction that eventually makes it through, isn't 25%. It's more. Because the back radiation doesn't just bounce uselessly, it recycles energy that would have been lost. Every backward reflection gives the system another chance to push some of that energy forward. Every physical system finds its balance. A hot cup of coffee cools until it matches the room. The ball rolling downhill settles at the bottom. The blind and the curtains are no different. At equilibrium, energy in equals energy out for each layer individually. Think about the blinds. What comes in? Sunlight, 1 unit, plus whatever the curtains radiate backward. What goes out? Half of everything outward, blast, half inward, towards the curtains. Think about the curtains. What comes in? Whatever the blinds radiate inward. And what goes out? Half forward into the room, half backward towards the blind. Two unknowns, two constraints. The math is simpler than it sounds. Call the energy the blind radiate inward X. Call the energy that reaches the room Y. At the blinds, the sunlight plus the back radiation from the curtains equals the total the blinds must split. Work through it. At the curtains, what blinds send inward, X, gets split into Y going forward and Y going backward. Because the curtains split 50-50, those two must be equal. What goes back towards the blind is also Y. Now everything locks together. The blind receives sunlight plus Y. They split it 50-50. So X, what they send inward, equals half of 1 plus Y. Two equations, two unknowns. Solve them. Y equals 1/3. 33.3% of the original sunlight reaches the room, not 25%. 8% more than you expected. And that 8% exists because of the infinite back and forth, because the system is coupled, because the curtains refuse to be black cold sink. This is where the puzzle becomes beautiful. Same logic extends to any number of layers. 3 identical layers, each blocking 50%, 4 layers, 10 layers, 100 layers. And the pattern that emerge is hauntingly simple. 1 layer, 1/2 gets through, 50%. 2 layers, 1/3, 33% gets through. 3 layers, 1/4, 25% gets through. 4 layers, 1/5, 20%. 10 layers, 1/11, about 9%. The general rule, n layer lets through 1 divided by n plus 1. So to finally reach 25%, the number you thought 2 layers would give you, you need 3 layers, not 2. And adding a 10th layer only takes you from 1/9 to 1/11. Barely a change. It's not exponential decay, it's a harmonic series, much gentler, much slower to fade. Each additional layer helps, but each helps less than the one before. Diminishing returns baked into the structure of energy itself. The universe is surprisingly stingy about giving you the last bit of darkness. This isn't just a clever puzzle. It's the same physics that governs systems you have seen, systems you depend upon, systems that shape the world. Multi-layer insulation on aircraft, the gold foil blanket wrapped around satellites and telescopes. They're not just stacked layer with multiplied percentage. Engineers saw the same coupled equilibrium we just worked through. The back radiation between those layers is exactly how those blankets keep spacecraft from freezing or burning. Same equation, different scale. The greenhouse effect, the atmosphere behaves like multiple radiating layers. Each layer of carbon dioxide doesn't just block a fixed percentage and pass the rest along. The back radiation between atmospheric layer is what traps heat. Sunlight comes in, the ground absorbs it, radiates infrared upward. The atmosphere absorbs some, radiates some back downward. That downward radiation warms the ground further, which radiates more. The layers are coupled. The equations are identical to our window. And stars, how energy escapes from a stellar core, a photon born in the center of the sun, forged in nuclear fusion, doesn't fly straight out into the space. It scatters, gets reabsorbed, re-emitted into random direction, bounces, scatters again, a chaotic coupled cascade that takes thousands of years to reach the surface. Same physics, a star's core and its outer layer talking to each other through radiation, just like blinds and the curtains. This is the deeper lesson, the one hiding beneath the puzzle. In physics, you almost never get to multiply independent probabilities. Systems couple, energy loops back, energy talks to everything else. The blinds and the curtains aren't two separate problems. They are one problem with two separate parts. And that changes the arithmetic entirely. So next time you draw the curtains on a bright afternoon, remember, sunlight sneaking into your room isn't 25%, it's 33.3%, and buried inside that extra 8% is an infinite series of back-forth radiation, a harmonic pattern, and a truth about how universe handles energy. A simple question about a window leads to physics of stars and spacecraft because the rules don't change. They just get harder to see. Thanks for watching.